on that people will make assessments of you through their reptilian brain, which operates our fight and flight feelings for protection and security. Okay, the need to prolong our lives is one of our highest needs. So we'll either fight to protect it or flee to avoid it. And when we encounter another human being, as much as we like to say it's not right to judge people, we do it. And you can't avoid it because it's hardwired into us through the reptilian brain, the oldest part of the brain, designed for survival. So knowing that that is hardwired into us, this is why we generate feelings when we first encounter somebody, either feelings of here, 0 to 100 to 50. On this scale from 0, it is hate. Okay? On 100, it is love. In the middle is you're okay. Okay? I'm not sure if you can see that from your screen, but we have 0 hate, the middle of okay at 50, and 100 is love. And so when we encounter somebody and we happen to be a sales person, okay, because we are in real estate sales, that's what we do. Just a reminder if you didn't know that. And when we engage with somebody for the first time, let's say a for sale by owner, canceled, expired, walk in through the open house, an online lead, a referral from a past client, or just somebody who made a recommendation that they speak to us, we're going to be somewhere here at maybe 50, from 0 to 50. Okay. Not too many people hate real estate brokers. Okay. Or hate salespeople, hate used car salespeople. Okay. However, there have been some bad experiences in our industry that tend to move it towards the 0 part. So when you encounter somebody for the first time, they're going to be somewhere here between probably 10 to 50. So what do we do to get it from 10 to 50 and then maintain the 50 to move it closer to the 100? So in the first 0 to 90 seconds, this is the area that people are going to be sizing you up. They're going to be evaluating whether or not you're going to be a threat to their security and be able to help them achieve their wants, needs, and desires. And so what can you do to overcome this 0 to 90 seconds? Now, over the phone, you do not have 0 to 90 seconds. I'm admitting somebody. Over the phone, you probably have less than 10 seconds to make that first good impression. 0 to 10 seconds. In person, there's a lot of grace because there's a lot of communication that occurs. In person, well, the communication ratios break down like this. 7% of what we say, 7% of our communication is words only. 38% of how we communicate is done through our tonal fluctuations. Okay. And then 57% of how we communicate is nonverbal. So a lot of this stuff that they are picking up, they're reading through your tonal qualities, the vocal fluctuations, how long you hold out your vowel sounds, how you do an upswing or a downswing in your voice, and the head movements, the gestural behaviors and qualities, how you look, how you dress, how you walk, how you look, your age, your size, everything is going to be amassed in order to create a feeling of security or this person is sort of scary. So that's what happens in our reptilian brain to determine whether or not you're going to be friend or foe. So what can you do to combat that, to neutralize the reptilian brain? Let me show you. So 0 to 90 seconds in person, less than 10 seconds over the phone. Okay. So there's 4 elements of rapport. 4 elements of rapport. So what is rapport? Rapport is a scientific term for relationship. You are either developing the relationship, destroying the relationship, or initiating the relationship. And so what are these 4 elements that define, that make up, and then also maintain the relationship? There's 4. I call it UCAT. UCAT, UCAT. These are the 4 elements. Understanding. Commonality. Appreciation. You guessed it. Trust. UCAT. These are the 4 elements of rapport that develop relationship, that create relationship, maintain relationship, and also destroy relationship. It is in your power to destroy a relationship, and it is in your power to maintain it, and it is in your power to create it. Okay, just keep that in mind. Once you get this, there is no excuse for failure. Okay, you have to take 100% responsibility now for these relationships. Here's something that is a twist. In order for you to develop rapport with other people, you got to have rapport with you first. Okay, sort of makes you feel good, doesn't it? Well, it's sort of silly, but see, that's the feeling. I mean, that's a good feeling. I mean, whether you laughed at me, you created a good feeling, and that feeling is something that, for just a second, if you were feeling bad about other things, you just sort of felt good. It made you laugh. That those endorphins will fill your body, and so feel good about yourself. So how do you feel good about yourself? Okay, how do you create that? If somebody else is not going to create it for you, how do you create it for yourself? There it is again. You are 100% responsible for the relationship you have with yourself. Okay? And so we have to take responsibility for the relationship we have with ourselves before we take responsibility to have a relationship with anyone else. Makes sense, doesn't it? Okay. If we rely on people to make us happy, to have a better relationship, so-and-so makes me happy. That's great that they do, but what if so-and-so fucks up? Excuse me. What if they screw up? What if they mess it up? People are going to be people. We're not perfect. So understanding, commonality, appreciation, and trust. That's how we develop rapport with other people. But think about the rapport you have with yourself. So understanding. Do you understand yourself? Do you spend time to understand yourself? Commonality. Do you have things in common with yourself? Do you feel that you're separated from who you really are? Okay. How about appreciation? Do you appreciate yourself? Can you appreciate yourself? Or do you have a life filled with regret and resentment? I know I did once. I did not like myself. Okay. Now I just love myself. It's hard to do. I get it. Do you trust yourself? How is trust developed? By making a statement and making a promise and keeping it. That's all. Trust is developed when you say you're going to do something and you follow through with it. Okay? So think about the application. If you're feeling bad about yourself, okay, one, if not all three of these elements could be out of alignment. Okay? You have four wheels on the vehicle. One wheel starts doing this. The rest of the car has got to slow down until that one wheel stops doing this. Okay? You blow out a wheel, you stop trusting yourself. You may love yourself, you know yourself, and you understand yourself, but if you can't trust yourself, you're not going to be able to travel down the road of life in such a way that you wish you were originally designed to travel. So I'm spending a lot of time in this. It sounds like this is a self-development class. Well, guess what? If you want to be good with other people, you got to start by being good to yourself. Okay? So let's say, for example, you've done some work with yourself and this stuff is working. So how can you then apply this to other people in a real way so you can create instant rapport with anybody that you choose in 0 to 90 seconds? Because now you are responsible not only for the relationship you have with yourself, but you're now taking charge of the relationship you have with everyone else. That's some serious unloading stuff this early in the morning on a Thursday. Taking 100% responsibility for the relationships that you care to create, maintain. Tell you what, we can destroy a relationship by just demonstrating that, I don't understand a damn thing that you have, what you're talking about. We actually have nothing more in common anymore. I don't appreciate anything that you're doing, and I can't trust you for nothing. You can literally destroy a relationship if you want to. And oftentimes we do so in an unconscious form, in an unconscious matter. And we understand, well, at first we were really together. We were so together. We fell out of love. No, you didn't. You fell out of you fell out of rapport. You fell out of relationship. Somebody wasn't taking responsibility. So sometimes it may not be your fault, but you can take responsibility for your end of it and not let it affect you personally. So when I'm approaching understanding and I want to develop rapport with a client in the first 0 to 90 seconds, how do you develop understanding? You ask questions that involve them, not about you. You ask questions that involve them. What's important about? Is there something special that you are attempting to create in your future? Tell me more about that. Okay? You show interest into them. You take a secondary role. Show interest into them. No, in the beginning, I know it's 0 to 90 seconds, but you can just start in the shallow end of understanding. You don't need to go to the deep end of understanding, but demonstrate that you're interested in this other human being. Okay? Commonality. Commonality can be demonstrated in different forms. Okay, before I get into these different levels, I'm going to go back and remind us that 57% of our communication is nonverbal, correct? Okay, that's yes from everybody. Jose. So since 57% of our communication is nonverbal, how do you do this nonverbally? Okay. Mirroring and matching. Mirroring and matching. Okay. I said the gestural behaviors are much different regarding how we were brought up. The tonality, the rate of speech. The rate of speech. Okay. You can demonstrate understanding by slowing your rate of speech down to match. Okay. Matching in verbal is is verbal. Mirroring is physical. So when I say mirroring, it means the physical attributes of looking at somebody and mirroring them. When I say matching, it means tonality and rate of speech and vocal fluctuations. Okay. So when you are matching, that means the voice, sound, you can demonstrate understanding, commonality, and appreciation, because like attracts like. Like attracts like. People like sameness. People will attract to familiarity. Okay. They assemble together, which is why oftentimes, you just feel like, hey, like I've known you for years and we just sort of met, right? You've had that feeling before. And it's simply because you have this internal part of it in your brain says likes matches like. There's familiarity, and I don't know why. It's often because of the nonverbal assembly of cues that you identify as safe, nice, non-threatening. Okay, and that may be because the stature and how they stand, or it could be the stature of how they stand, how they use their head tilt, how they use a hand gesture, how they shake a hand, how fast they speak or how slow they speak, how they use the vowel sounds, like we're going to a barbecue, or we're going to a barbecue. Okay. That attracts people, and they attract to similarity. Like attracts like. And so when we're talking about understanding commonality and appreciation, when you are mirroring the body language and you are matching tonality and rate of speech, you're also functioning in these three things, which creates this trust in a real simple, simplistic way. Simon Sinek, a leadership guru, says it's amazing how people attract to familiarity. Now, somebody from New York is visiting Huntington Beach, California, and they hear somebody with a New York accent at a diner in Huntington Beach. Hey, you sounds like you're from New York. All of a sudden, these two strangers who don't even know each other become friends in Huntington Beach because they sound familiar, and they have no idea who they are. And they're in a completely different space. They're in a completely different world. They don't even know each other. New York, the city is just so huge, but they hear the tonality and maybe the hand gestures from the Eastern, the New England area. Hey, so they attract. They don't even know each other, and they're friends. Okay, you were abroad. Let's say you are in Paris, France, having some nice cheese and some bread, between lunch and dinner, and you hear some Americans, okay, with an American accent, a couple tables over. Oh, you're American. Oh, all of a sudden you don't know each other, and they're from Iowa, okay, and they're from New Mexico, but you're Americans, and you hear the accent, and all of a sudden you're best friends, and you don't even know they're complete strangers. And so this is what is happening, and what you can create with people in 0 to 90 seconds. Understanding is getting to know them, uncovering them, asking questions about and into them. Commonality is easily demonstrated through mirroring and matching, but is also done through words. So you've got your words, and you've got your tonality, and you have your body language working all together. You become irresistible. And this is how some people just are natural people magnets. Why are people magnetized and attracted to some, and while they are not to others? Is because some people do this naturally. This is how this study has come about, because experts before us have identified these are the traits that people carry that are natural magnets to other people. They just do this naturally. So commonality. I love to use the instance with a for sale by owner. This is why I found for sale by owners very easy for me. I'd say, hey, I understand that you are just trying to save a few dollars and selling it yourself. I completely understand that. And, if you were to get your property sold without a real estate agent, where would you plan on going? There's no harm in trying to do this on your own. In fact, I applaud you, I applaud you for stepping out and taking this. Someone's got to be real brave, and I appreciate, and I'll use that word, I appreciate what you're attempting to do. And I hope you really, really get it. Actually, when it comes down to it, you and I will have to agree that we're in the same business together. I just happen to be licensed, and you're a property owner, which gives us both the ability to buy and sell property without me having to use you and you without having to use me, doesn't it? Commonality. All of a sudden, I'm not coming off as on the scale from 0 to 100. It starts off, oh, this is another real estate agent. I'm about a level 10. All of a sudden, I'm at level 50. They're okay with me now. And once they feel okay with me, that then gives me permission to begin to influence and persuade and motivate. That's when, after you've developed rapport gives you permission to persuade. Rapport opens the door for influence. After you build rapport, it opens up the door for you to begin to motivate. Have you ever been motivated or been attempted to be motivated, influenced, and persuaded by somebody you didn't have rapport with? How well did that go? So when you are engaged in building rapport, first have the rapport instilled with you, understand yourself, find something you really have in common with yourself, appreciate yourself, and trust yourself. You can create it. If it's not happening for you immediately, you can create that, even if it's for a small section of time when it's time to perform and it's time to be on and it's time to score and it's time to do your job. Okay, release all the other feelings that you have that are misgiving towards yourself and be on that stage and perform and give it everything you have. Why? Because the other person deserves it. It's a level of service. It's putting yourself behind someone else, and then understanding that you can perform these steps and create instant rapport at any time. And then throughout the conversation and throughout the relationship, people have different feelings towards one another. And I'll do this with Rochelle and I once or twice a year whenever we're sort of feeling it. And I will hand Rochelle a UCAT. And then I'm like, okay, Rochelle, on a scale from 1 to 10, how do you feel? How much understanding you have that you're getting from me? She'll say, okay, a 7. And then I'll score maybe how much understanding does Rochelle, I feel like I'm getting from Rochelle. I'll put 5. Okay. How much do we have in common? Okay. I say 9. She scores herself a 9. How much appreciation? I feel like maybe perhaps I'm getting 4 and she feels like she's getting 8. And, we both trust each other a lot. That's 8. And so if we want to identify areas in our relationship in order to maintain, if I care to, okay, I'll say, well, Rochelle, your lowest score is understanding. What can I do better, okay, in order to make sure that, because I do understand, I want to understand you more. What's important to you? What are your goals? What is it that you can accomplish, and how can I help you? Okay, that will fix that really damn quickly. Rochelle will say, oh, Todd, you're not feeling appreciated. What do you mean? I love you and I appreciate you. Well, I need a lot of affirmation. Okay. Oh, if that's all it is, okay. See, this really helps. You may not want to do that with your clients and your customers, but think about the relationships that really, really matter most to you. And so there's 3 applications to this. Rapport that you have with yourself. Okay. How much understanding do you have of yourself? And have you spent time doing that? How much do you have in common with yourself? Do you still like doing things, okay, that you love to do? Appreciation. How much do you like yourself? Okay. Or you hung up on the resentments and shoulda, woulda, couldas from yesterday? And then how much do you trust yourself about the promises you keep, perhaps with that alarm clock in the morning and the snooze button? I am not going to use my snooze button today. And you use your snooze button 5 times. And 15, 20 minutes later, you finally roll out of bed. Okay. Those small little commitments to yourself creates trust with yourself. And then that's one application. The other application, again, is with your clients. How to use understanding, commonality, appreciation, and trust. I understand that you're trying to sell this on your own, and I really, really appreciate you stepping out to do that. It's a big job. Normal people probably wouldn't do it, but you are super special. And, what you'll find is that we're now not necessarily adversaries. We have something in common. We both love to save money, and we're both in the real estate business together. So, with that, we can, trust that if we work together at some form, we can help you get what it is that you want, and perhaps not even having it cost you $1 more than what it is you're currently doing. I'd love to have that conversation with you over a cup of coffee. Are you available this afternoon? I can go by and talk to you a little bit about your house. That's all 4 right there in a quick little script. And that was less than 90 seconds. But I want to demonstrate how you can use it. How do you create appreciation? Then I'm going to close. Appreciation is demonstrated by compliments. Compliments. And it's interesting, you are utilizing the elements of reciprocity. Reciprocity. You give something, the universe gives something in return. They reciprocate. And so when you appreciate and you pay them a compliment, at some level, at some form, they are going to reciprocate back. It's hard to be mean and dislike somebody when you receive a compliment from them. But it's got to be sincere. This is not an area of fake it till you make it crap. You've got to really be sincere, because your tonality and your body language will reveal the truth. Okay? It's not what the words say, it's what the body says through tonality, upswings, eyebrow lifts, head tilts, smile, facial muscles, nostril flares, ear movements, chin movements, shoulder adjustments, all that. We have learned how to read body language as a baby. Okay? And you can tell when somebody's giving you false testimony, meaning you can tell when somebody's lying to you. And it's not so much the words they say, it's the feeling you get from the body and the tone of their mouth. So anyways, I'm going to close up with that. We can continue this conversation rolling into next week. I love this stuff. I love you guys. I hope this is going to help a little bit for you today. And let's just continue to do what we do and serve people. We got the best job in the world. Think about it. We really got the best job in the world. Selling real estate is fun, so let's have fun selling it.